You can't simply walk into American military bases anytime you please. Their tendency towards secrecy thus leads to plenty of curiosity on the public's part. So when it comes to US military facilities, there are still some pretty mysterious ones out there, even today. From the outside, Frederick, Maryland's Fort Detrick may look like a pretty standard military installation. It has a sprawling campus that hosts one of the United States military's most terrifying and secret initiatives, biological weapons. It all started around 1950. That's when the US Army determined that Fort Detrick, a mere 50 miles or so from Washington, D.C., would be the best place where the military would begin developing and testing biological weapons. At the time, it was kept top secret as scientists created various bioweapons. The program was retired in 1969 and replaced by a bioweapons defense program, which is still active today. Fort Detrick was also the central base for the CIA program known as MK-Ultra, in which sometimes unwitting test subjects were given LSD and other mind-altering drugs in an attempt to develop mind control tactics. That program remains mysterious today, in large part because many of the documents related to it were destroyed in the 70s. Fort Detrick is now home to a state-of-the-art facility meant to contain all of that potentially deadly research material. The origins of operations at the Cheyenne mountain complex are so notoriously particular that it's become a standard for hush-hush military installations. Located near Colorado Springs, Colorado, it's understandable why so much of the facility's operations have been kept quiet over the years, considering its history. As reported by Wired, the true heyday of the complex came shortly after its completion in the 1960s, at the height of the Cold War. The complex is buried deep into the side of its namesake mountain, and with its network of tunnels and life support systems, it provided an attractive bunker in the event of a nearby nuclear attack. The shielding provided by the granite does much of the work, along with earthquake-resistant architecture and plenty of shielding for all the electronics. Though reporters are occasionally invited inside for a limited tour of the facilities, much of what goes on inside Cheyenne Mountain Complex is still shrouded in secrecy. It needs to be, as it once housed operations for the North American Aerospace Defense Command and other monitoring and defense networks. The complex is now a backup command and training center, though many wonder if such an extensive and heavily shielded facility is really being allowed to sit more or less dormant in a tumultuous world.
The base itself is a wonder of technology and engineering.
One of the most notorious military bases of all time, the installation known as Area 51 remains locked down. In part, that's because it's located in the remote Nevada desert, but officials have also gone to great lengths to remain mum about it. It's been such a big secret that the US government didn't even acknowledge its existence until 2013. Many speculate that this is because Area 51, officially known as Groom Lake, is all about espionage. If you were a government official who managed a program meant to monitor Soviet activity during the Cold War, you probably wouldn't publicize your work. The secrecy has led to some pretty wild conspiracy theories over the years. Some of the more mundane ones speculate that Area 51 is a top-secret testing ground for espionage equipment and high-tech aircraft. Meanwhile, the more out-there theories maintain that it's not just spy planes at Groom Lake, but instead extraterrestrial craft, perhaps even complete with alien pilots. But with security contractors patrolling the perimeter and access to the site highly restricted, no one on the outside knows for sure.
So now the government has admitted Area 51 exists, but that is about all.
As far as mysterious military installations go, it makes sense that any place dealing with high-tech intelligence and surveillance would be pretty locked down. After high-profile leaks from former contractors and military employees like Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning, you can be certain that security measures around these places are at a high level. And that's precisely why some intelligence facilities are so compelling to those of us on the outside. Take the Utah Data Center operated by the National Security Administration. As reported by The Atlantic, many have wondered why it would be located in Utah, though the state certainly has plenty of remote areas and a distinct lack of natural disasters. Local communities have also given the NSA a sweet deal on water rights and other infrastructure needs. So what exactly is happening at this NSA data center? All anyone seems to feel confident about is that it likely stores massive amounts of data collected via any number of undisclosed methods. As reported by NPR, many people assume that quite a lot of that data is harvested directly from American citizens and their communications. While administrators have plainly stated that they don't hold such data and instead focus on foreign targets, the lack of detail has been met with plenty of skepticism. The nature of a top-secret military bunker is that it must be kept, well, secret. It may seem like a fun mystery to people on the outside, but the very nature of such an installation means that people in the know absolutely must keep their mouths shut. That's a big reason why people are so interested in Virginia's Mount Weather, a highly secretive military installation about an hour from Washington, D.C. In part, that's because Mount Weather is a bit of an open secret. It may have been a bit more concealed in the previous years, but the events of September 11, 2001 led to a visible flood of government officials and their vehicles into the area. Reports from over the years hint at a sprawling, well-supplied complex, complete with an independent electrical system and a helipad. There's speculation that Mount Weather is just one of a series of similar sites, but that's just about all civilians seem to know about the place. The perimeter is heavily controlled, and anyone who attempts to breach the fence would likely be met with serious resistance. Some of the most mysterious U.S. military bases and facilities are actually located in overseas territories and small landholdings. And top amongst those is a base located on a small atoll that's part of the Chagas Islands in the Indian Ocean. The base in question, Diego Garcia, exists in part because of a unique agreement between the United States and the United Kingdom. In 1965, the U.S. agreed to lease the atoll from the British to create a base, but the arrangement was kept strictly secret. While other nearby nations gained independence from the British Empire, the agreement basically meant that the Chagas Islands are still under the thumb of colonial British powers, and the people who inhabited the islands were kicked off to make way for the Americans and their secretive facility. Though the agreement is now out in the open, the exact operations of Diego Garcia remain murky. Part of that's due to the pure physical distance of the place from anywhere else. But as reported by CNN, the British government has admitted that the CIA has flown in detainees, leading some people to wonder if the remote nature of the base has allowed it to become an alarmingly secretive version of Guantanamo Bay. The Alaska-based HAARP, which stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, is ostensibly a government-run research effort to study our planet's upper atmosphere. But as reported by NBC, some people have speculated that it's actually to create or manage weather-based weapon systems that can cause massive storms and deadly earthquakes.
I've read some theories that HAARP can be used to manipulate the weather. Is this possible?
However, none of these conspiracy theorists have come up with a good explanation for how a weather station located in Alaska could be responsible for something like earthquakes in Haiti. Though the military claimed it was only undertaking the project because it was largely interested in how radio signals traveled through the atmosphere, its remote nature and military security has led to plenty of suspicion. Even now that HAARP has been transferred from the U.S. Air Force to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, some still cast a wary eye at this remote facility. In another context, Raven Rock Mountain Complex sounds like it could be a title of a pretty groovy prog rock album, but the reality of Raven Rock is far more locked down and potentially sinister. Reports strongly indicate that much of Raven Rock Mountain Complex is underground. According to Atlas Obscura, the site also goes by the moniker Site R, the Alternate Joint Communication Center, and more colloquially, the Underground Pentagon. As you may very well guess at this point, Raven Rock is yet another extensive government bunker that was created during the Cold War, as American officials fretted over the threat of nuclear annihilation. Located in Fairfield, Pennsylvania, it appears to be the retreat site for Pentagon personnel.
I don't know whether it's true or not. There's supposed to be some kind of an underground thing like from Virginia all the way up where they could drive up if they wanted to.
Though the site's construction was covered by local press during the 50s, it remains covered by a veil of secrecy to this day. Military representatives may send over unclassified information to reporters, but what about the classified material? No one but a small group of workers there knows exactly what is in the bunker. Though, as Wired notes, perhaps it's high time that we discarded the idea of bunkers anyway, as a modern warhead with the coordinates to a known site like Raven Rock could easily destroy the complex. If you ever find yourself in a gathering of UFO enthusiasts, you could certainly mention your interest in Area 51. But if you really want to make an impression, you should start asking about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Located in the rather unassuming city of Dayton, Ohio, Wright-Patterson has long been the subject of mystery and conspiracy theories, and some of those theories are actually linked to verifiable facts. As reported by the Dayton Daily News, Wright-Patterson was the host site for Project Blue Book, the government investigation intended to look into UFOs that officially ended in 1969. There's even a series of murals on base painted by German POWs that include Green Goblin-esque creatures, and some people have interpreted to mean that the Germans somehow witnessed little green men from outer space. Central to many theories is the possibly real, possibly mythical Hangar 18 somewhere on the base. Some of the bolder theories contend that Hangar 18 houses debris from extraterrestrial craft and maybe even the non-human pilots themselves, which may be linked to the 1947 crash in Roswell, New Mexico. However, the Air Force has repeatedly denied these claims, saying that there has never been a Hangar 18, though there is a Building 18 on base. Furthermore, nobody's come forth with definitive proof for any of these claims. While some people may think that they could potentially visit some of these facilities and at least survive their experience, some military facilities are off limits for very good reasons. It's one thing to lark about just outside the gates of Area 51, but it's something else entirely to visit another base and get a bad case of anthrax. Located in a remote section of Utah, Dugway Proving Ground is run by the U.S. military with the intent to test chemical and biological weapons. Understandably, then, access to the site is strictly controlled. In addition to the extensive laboratories on site, there are also training grounds, including a series of linked shipping containers that may have been modified to appear like cramped cave environments. Though little is known about the exact nature of testing at Dugway, there have been multiple incidents that have marked this facility's past. According to Smithsonian Magazine, around 6,000 sheep in the area were killed in March 1968. They were done in by a jet spraying nerve gas at too high an altitude. The gas dispersed beyond the grounds and coated grass that was later consumed by the sheep. More recently, a lab at Dugway inadvertently shipped live samples of anthrax across the country, which naturally enough raised considerable alarm. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.